Hello everybody. Earth-based telescope, where we showed you the glow at the top of the screen that had been there for quite some time. Didn't always used to be there. It used to be a glow at the bottom of the screen. And of course it doesn't help when they put blurring, occulting discs all over this specific image to blur what's going on in the frame, but the changes are still there. We warned you in 2015 about record warm oceans. Then came 2016 and 2017. Then came 2018. Why are the oceans getting hotter and hotter and hotter? It's the radiation. And when the water gets hotter, the ice gets lower. And when the ice gets lower, the water gets hotter quicker. Alaska lost all of its oceanic shore ice this summer. Hello? Greenland lost its surface ice, and now thousands of lakes underneath the Greenland ice sheet are appearing, and rivers. And so as the sun cooks the entire solar system, as Earth becomes almost uninhabitable in some places, there's still people running around trying to confuse you. And I'm not so much concerned about those people as I am about you. I'm concerned that you're going to actually listen to those people who never showed you a single graph, who will point out, oh, a snowfall here and a snowfall there, cherry picking a snowfall here and a snowfall there, while ignoring what's happening to 90% of the planet. Alaska's on fire, Siberia on fire. That didn't used to happen. It's happening now every summer. So what we do to block out this radiation, they try to create shade. They try to create shade in the atmosphere by using metallic oxides. Metallic oxides, aluminum oxide, is actually poisonous, but it's also a fire accelerant. And so when you have incredibly hot sun, dry conditions, and aluminum oxide on your leaves, all of a sudden your trees are now matchsticks. And I have relatives that lost everything in the Paradise Fire, and that fire raced through like a race car in a road rally. That fire raced through. There was no time for many people to even get out of the way. And the trends have been there. The real recent data has been taken offline, has been kept from you. If it's not been kept from you, it's been smoothed out. So it's very difficult to get true radiation readings of today. But you can see where the trends have been going since the Great Maunder Minimum, nowhere near where the radiation used to be. And this one graph alone completely blows the Maunder Minimum stuff out of the water. Now, sunspots do control climate, but something's changed in the last 10 years, and that's been the presence of a brown dwarf shedding so many cosmic rays, lighting up the corona, and colliding in the magnetospheres of every planet and even the sun. That's releasing a terribly huge amount of radiation that we're trying to block. Cardiac arrhythmias, inflammatory diseases, immune repression, soft tissue failures have all been going up. But this graph proves that lately the lower sunspots have had no effect upon climate. And that's because of one thing. Hello, just look at the graphs. So you answer me this. Why did anybody trying to push that there's going to be an ice age due to the grand solar minimum, GSM, grand solar minimum? Where's the ice age? As our forests burn and our fish die, and birds drop out of the sky, people keel over in their trucks, and they're canceling schools because of heat. Where are these graphs in those people's presentations? And that is concerning, because not so much that they're lying to you and hurting you, it's concerning that for yourself, it's a concern for you. It's a concern that you're going to listen, that you're going to ignore what's going on, as 70% of the population is doing. And they're all paying a price. One way or another, they're paying a price. And even visible light, some forms of visible light are going up on the sun. No wonder the sun seems brighter and wider. Ultraviolet C, extreme ultraviolet. The minimums never came down. We never dropped down to our traditional minimum levels of ultraviolet C. Why? Particle collision in the corona is releasing huge amounts of radiation. Some of that is extreme ultraviolet. Also, electron photon radiation can cause many elements to release extreme ultraviolet. What this does, though, is that our water absorbs radiation. It absorbs radiation better than anything. As much the ground absorbs radiation, but the water is notorious for absorbing radiation. When the water absorbs radiation, it gets warmer. When the water gets warmer, things happen. Algae blooms, plankton blooms, bacterial blooms, oxygen depletion, and just plain temperature stress, thermal stress to the fish itself. Now, this brown dwarf that's doing all the damage, we know where it is, and it's approaching. It'll fly out and try to rendezvous with Uranus here in about 4 years, but it's between Jupiter's orbital and Saturn's orbital, and it's wreaking havoc with the Earth. It's going to wreak havoc for quite some time. People are upset they didn't get to see this brown dwarf, but it's a fragment. And as the streams now the rivers are heating up, you have to scratch your head and say, how come a hurricane didn't topple the tree, but yet a tropical storm did what a hurricane couldn't do? And people driving years and years and years in the summer, not a problem. All of a sudden, this summer, big problem. Postal carrier, this is just an example of what's going on. A postal carrier dies in her postal truck. And remember, I told you, people who hide what's going on and cause an injury, you get an injury, those people are liable for your injuries and your suffering. If you've listened to the lie, and you've listened to the disinformation about how the sun isn't hotter, it's actually colder. If you've listened to any of that and it hurt you, you have a verifiable civil claim against those people who contributed to your injuries. Till next time, be prepared, not scared.